Okay, for Module 3, which begins on Monday, the 27th, you'll be focusing on the online teacher, which is what you'll be focusing on a lot of in this course. But specifically, you'll be talking about the skills needed to be a successful online teacher, and also, again, talking more about similarities and differences between online and face-to-face. So for this module, I've actually prepared a quick PowerPoint presentation, or a Google presentation, should I say, that will step you through some of the requirements. But if you're looking on the module in the course, you're looking at the online teacher, and this lists the assignment due dates. Here you have the rubrics for Module 3 on the right-hand side. Under the online teacher, here's the content that you'll review. So make sure you always start here when you actually are reading everything. And then 3.1 Venn diagram, 3.2 taxonomy activity, and 3.3 discussion. 3.1 and 3.2 are both wiki projects, so just like you did for 2.1, you'll actually create a wiki project page where you'll post your things. The goal is that these wiki projects are designed so that you're not posting in isolation, and that you can actually see what your cohorts are, or what your peers in the cohort are producing as well. This is designed to stimulate ideas on what ways you might incorporate and possibly do some things in the future as well. For 3.3 Module 3, there are also examples of 3.1 and 3.2, so you can see examples there. So make sure you check those out for a good idea of what you're looking for in the project. And then, as always, under how to earn leading edge certification, there are these 3 portfolio sites that are listed. Always check with those as well. Those are done by other leading edge people who've been through the course previously. And this will give you an idea of an entire compiled portfolio. And there's also, you can look at individual module assignments in there. So with that, I'll dive into the brief presentation that we've got here. Let's see if I can do this and make it look nice. I might also resize it a bit. Let's see if I can do that. Make it fit. There we go. That should work. Okay, so this is focusing on the online teacher. Our learning objectives for this module really are to describe the role of an online teacher, and then compare and contrast face-to-face teaching with online teaching, and for the portfolio assignment, to translate Bloom's taxonomy to the online classroom. So in this, you'll have the opportunity to become familiar with some of the resources available for Bloom's taxonomy. Ooh, skip that. So for 3.1, and ignore the date on that one. Apparently I didn't update the date on that presentation on that one. But essentially, you're going to do a personal project, and you can view and comment on any of the other students. And you're going to use Creately, Read, Write, Think, or other digital tools to just create a Venn diagram, a graphic organizer, comparing and contrasting face-to-face and online learning. So I'll touch on some of these key points in just a moment, but some things you want to focus on for this are using one of the tools, and you don't have to stretch yourself completely. You could use something that you're already familiar with, or if you're feeling adventurous, you could use something like Creately that you may not have used before. The ultimate goal is to create a Venn diagram, so however you get there, you get there. So there's links to available tools in the assignment. Obviously Word, Google Docs Drawing, which allows you to create Venn diagrams, Creately, which is a web-based graphic organizer program, and then Read, Write, Think, which is another one as well. So Read, Write, Think, if I pull it up really quickly, actually if I link on it right here, pull that up really quickly. So Creately is a graphic organizer. So let's go in here. Let's create one. Go into examples. And let's see, they have to have a Venn diagram sample in here. There's a sample on the course, and maybe I'll just pull that one up. There we go. There's an example. And here's an example basically of a Venn diagram created with creately. Just basically comparing the two, and what you allows you to do is to edit these diagrams. I have to actually have an account to make the edits on this one. But essentially I would make a Venn diagram on the web. So that's there. The other is read, write, think, and let me pull that one up. And there are, let's see if I type in Venn, I believe it'll pull up some different options here. And there we have a Venn diagram, 2 circles. And you just basically get started on it and create it. So try that one out if that's something you're interested in trying. But ultimately, the goal is to create a Venn diagram and get there however you get there. And that is a pass, no pass assignment, so that is not something that will be submitted for your portfolio, but it's a useful exercise in understanding the things. If you note that Creately requires an account, and it does use Adobe Flash, so it won't work on iPads, so it's just something to be aware of. Let me see if I can adjust my presentation size here. There we go, beautiful. Let me skip through these really quick. On the previous slide there, you saw that Read, Write, Think only allows printing to PDF, so you can print to PDF and then upload that as part of your assignment to your wiki project. That's totally fine. The other thing is that Creately does require an account. It's free, and it does use Flash, so it's not available on your iPad. There is a video screenshot that demonstrates how to actually, or a screen capture, how to create a Creately Venn diagram, and then again I showed you that example. So make sure you check those 2 things out. So for your wiki project, you're going to, again, create a wiki project for 3.1 under the View Projects link. And from there, you're going to either upload a copy of your Venn diagram as an image, or paste an address to whatever, if it's on the web, a Creately Venn diagram, then that's fine as well. So explore the projects, explore the examples that are already out there ahead of you. And come up with something that you feel represents you and your perspective on this. And that's another example. This is actually a stellar one that was created by Edward, a student in one of my prior cohorts. So this is the big assignment though, 3.2. Muy importantes. This is a Bloom's Taxonomy activity. The directions are not clear in the content, so please use this as your ultimate guide for this. So there are 3 parts. Essentially, you're going to ID 3 web-based online tools. Google Docs, Google Presentation, VoiceThread, Glogster, you name it. If you're not sure of other ones out there, feel free to post in the discussion forum asking for it. But really your goal is to use these tools to move students towards higher order thinking skills, HOTS, essentially, on Bloom's Taxonomy. So then once you've identified 3 tools, you only need to select one, or more of the tools and develop an online lesson or assignment around that tool. So again, you're going to identify 3, but you're only going to create an activity around 1. So you don't have to go crazy. You could incorporate more if you would like to, and there's some great examples of people that have incorporated more. But you only have to, so think about that. And then develop student examples where appropriate. And the only reason I say that is if you don't have a ready student example available, then you know how it is with your students. You want to always have something available for them to review. So tips. Number 1, include learning objectives. It's helpful to have a learning objective for your assignment. What will the students be able to do? Correlate to the California State or the Common Core standards if possible. Now, it's not a requirement at all. but it's an activity and an exercise that is helpful. Number 3, create your learning activity in either Google Docs or Word. And the reason this is a tip, not a requirement. Tip. If you create it in one of those formats ahead of time, then you can take it and put it anywhere. So for example, if I created it in Google Docs and I laid out my objectives, my correlation to the standards, the sequence of the activity, how the students will be assessed, the references to Bloom's, and I did it in Google Docs, well then I have a Google Docs copy on the web that I can embed to a Google site. I can pretty much do whatever I want with. So just a tip. That's a tip. These are all tips. And then another tip is always look at the sample projects for guidance. And those are again under Module 3. If you look at the little down arrow that I referenced previously, there are examples there, as well as in the sample portfolios. So that's 3.1 and 3.2. And then the last is the Module 3 discussion. And this is the discussion prompt, but really we're talking about the shift of the role of the instructor. How would you characterize the role of the instructor in the online learning environment? I think we've touched on that briefly already. What are some of the characteristics of this role? And what do you believe are the differences? Or how is this role different from the face-to-face environment? So think about your experience as a classroom teacher and relate the differences. Where is the differences? Where is the similarities? Again, this all ties back to the 3.1 Venn diagram that you would have produced. So, reference concepts such as teacher-centered versus learner-centered or student-centered, how the learning environment is different or the same, sage on the stage versus facilitator on the side, and these types of things. So just think about these types of things and reference these concepts in the course of the discussion. You don't have to reference every one of these. Again, these are helps. These are useful for you to think about as you formulate your response. So our timeline for Module 3. Everything is technically due April 1st. Again, soft deadlines. If you got something crazy going on, I certainly understand. You will get more out of the discussions, though, if you post to the discussions in the timely responses. So initial post due March 28th, which I believe is Wednesday, and then have your final responses in to your peers by April 1st. So review what others have written and respond to what they're writing about, and aim for the timeline. Questions. Post to the general discussion forum. A lot of you will have similar questions, and that way we can answer them in one spot, or one of your peers can answer the question as well. And if you want to chat by phone or Skype, then let me know. I am going to be on a mini vacation with my family, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, coming back Thursday morning. I can schedule something with you later in the evening when the kids go to sleep, although I don't know how my wife will feel about that. But I will do my best. I will have my computer and I will be working to respond to questions while I'm out. And then Thursday and Friday I should be available, except for when I teach class at the university. And that's pretty much it. That's it for this module. Again, if you have questions, make sure you post to our discussion forum. If you're not sure about Bloom's digital taxonomy and the Bloom's taxonomy, there are resources linked directly to here under Module 3.2 on the front page of Module 3. And again, I look forward to seeing what you guys produce, and let me know if you have questions. Thanks, and have a great week.